The rise of coffee. Caffeine is weird plants. Use caffeine to protect themselves from predators. It is found in coffee beans, cacao beans, and tea leaves. In its pure form, it is a white powder. Tastes bitter and a bit soapy. 1/16 of a teaspoon will properly wake you up in the morning. 1/4 of a teaspoon will make your heart race, cause sweating and anxiety. A tablespoon would kill you. However, moderate coffee consumption can even be healthy. It lowers the risk of cancer, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, Parkinson's disease, dementia, and likely even depression. People love caffeine and have consumed it for several centuries. Europe in the Middle Ages. Monsters are still monsters. We have a hearty beer soup for breakfast, a glass of beer for lunch, and of course beer for dinner. Everyone drinks beer always, not necessarily because of the alcohol contained, little anyways, but because it tastes better than water. The average British drinks 3 liters a day, including children in the 16th century. A hot black drink from the Middle East amazes Europeans. It looks different than beer, it tastes different than beer, and it has a different effect than beer. Coffee drinkers are soon seen as productive and bourgeois, whereas beer drinkers are considered lazy and comfortable. In 17, there are already 3,000 coffee houses in London. Trade literature. Science and philosophy flourish there. Some historians even claim that the Age of Enlightenment and industrialization would not have been possible without coffee. Meanwhile, coffee is an extremely controversial topic. At the time, Charles II believes that his people could plan his coup. While hooked on coffee, he therefore bans all coffee houses. The public outcry is so great that he revokes the ban. Just a few days later, Frederick the Great bans coffee roasters to combat the flourishing black market. The Prussian king hires 400 so-called coffee sniffers to track down illegal coffee roasters. The ban is lifted immediately after his death. No caffeine ban in history was successful. In the long run, the world's largest beverage manufacturer of today. The billion-dollar industry. Coca-Cola was invented by a pharmacist called John Pemberton. It was initially advertised as a medicine. It's said to cure headaches, hysteria, and melancholy, but above all, Coca-Cola does one thing: it wakes you up, because it contains cocaine and caffeine. Coca-Cola soon has to remove the cocaine, but it still contains caffeine. Plenty of it at the beginning of the 20th century. The drink has as much caffeine as today's energy drinks. Caffeine has been the enemy of one man from the very beginning, Harvey Washington Wiley. He's the head of the Bureau of Chemistry, the predecessor of the powerful Food and Drug Administration. He cannot believe that children as young as 4 are drinking cola, in his opinion. The substance is just as addictive as opium. He declares war on Coca-Cola and orders the FBI to confiscate a shipment of the evil drink. A spectacular court case develops that will pave the way for caffeinated drinks forever. The entire United States is watching, the soon-to-be most powerful government in the world against the soon-to-be largest beverage manufacturer in the world, Coca-Cola, while in his office call more than 20 witnesses, including doctors, scientists, and regular Coke drinkers. In their closing statement, they confidently say caffeine is a dangerous drug that could be even regarded as poisonous. Coca-Cola quickly commissions a study itself, as there are virtually no caffeine studies in humans. At the time, they hire a young psychologist, give him a lot of money, and have him carry out a number of experiments. In just a few weeks, the young scientist delivers exonerating results. His conclusion in court: caffeine is harmless. Even better, caffeine has a physical and mental performance-enhancing effect. Jackpot, Coca-Cola wins. Later, however, there is an out-of-court settlement, and Coca-Cola reduces its caffeine content. But what remains in the public eye is a Coca-Cola one. And caffeine is a wonder drug with no side effects. And so begins a century of unrestrained caffeine consumption. In the USA, black filter, coffee and caffeinated soft drinks initially take off. Then in the 90s, Starbucks overtakes the drip coffee, the recipe for success. A roast that makes the coffee taste less bitter, sugar cream, and very large portions, with a matching amount of caffeine. And just when people thought there couldn't be any more caffeine and sugar in a drink, energy drinks entered the scene. In 1987, the first Red Bull can is launched on the market. 10 years later, there are countless suppliers who outdo each other with larger cans, and even more caffeine in some cases. There are even 700 milliliter cans. Before you realize it, it's 2024 and caffeine is everywhere, an industry worth hundreds of billions. It's been 100 years since Coca-Cola's court case, and in the meantime, it became evident that the wonder drug may have a few side effects after all. Hidden dangers, round. First of all, caffeine is not a dangerous evil drug, it does not ruin lives or destroy families. Although there are cases of caffeine poisoning, emergency room visits, and even deaths, these are extremely rare according to experts. Adults can safely drink a caffeine equivalent of 4 cups of coffee or 2 Monster energy drinks every day. As a teenager, about half as much or even just a quarter. That's only considering the caffeine Monster energy is, of course, super unhealthy. We wouldn't recommend drinking 1 Monster a day.